You know what? All I want to say is it's been a hell of a ride. I would have never thought that I think we're at 16 events and 10 years or whatever that is. I think that's what it comes out to be. And if you counted this as two, it would be 17. But it's been great. Like, I don't think I ever would have thought that I would have been in this situation with this many people all over the world. It's just amazing that I don't want to say that, to my own horn, but touched people and then also have these relationships with all these people and all you guys and everything like that. Like, it's been really good.
All right, guys, welcome to episode 110 of the Drag Drive Repeat show presented by Summit Racing. Dude, tonight we've got a crazy show. Yep. Tom Bagley here with a great question. Do you get an extra point for being an idiot and double entering? We maybe should have looked at that going in, because I think some of the folks that double entered should have gotten extra points for the championship side. But the problem is, like, from our side of stuff, when technically it was limited, it wasn't open to everybody. So then you can't, like, hey, only these 10 people can get this extra point. That's not fair. And then John Gilman here, great question again. Could you do ratings for events by mileage and difficulty? We can do that, but again, I don't have the routes when we're looking at the events that are going to be eligible as we move into, I'm trying to get everything done by PRI, because a lot of folks, like, by then people are showing up for sick week. They got to know. Tom Bagley here, I'm never doing it again. He's never doing double events again.
Yes, he will.
We'll see.
I'll call BS.
Yeah. So anyways, we don't know a lot of times what tracks these are. We don't even know what events are going to be hosted by then. We have a pretty good idea that the major ones are going to be there. And I'm trying to get everything out by PRI, because everybody's signing up for events in November, December, January, February. They're trying to make their plan. If they're going to make a run at this points championship, they need to know which events they're going to qualify for.
What does a weekend event get any kind of points at all? How do you have that structured? Nothing?
No, not yet. Just because I feel like the weekend stuff is still so broad. There's still so many. It's the Wild West for sure. Gotcha. At least with the national events, you kind of have a structure. Everybody bases their stuff on averages. The regional events, weekend stuff, nah, because you have, like, Back to the Streets, you have Heads Up Hustle, you have all that stuff that don't award their standings for winners are not based on averages, which is how we require stuff to do, plus 4 days of racing.
Gotcha.
4 scheduled days of racing.
Very good.
And just right here, honestly, one of the reasons I double class was I thought I could get some extra points. So it's at the 10-0 championship, because I thought 1,000 miles, 2 classes. I assumed the sad part is my way of looking at that is you made the drive one time. I know it's a really long drive. I know that. But you really only made the drive one time. And for events like Southeast Street Meet is a great example. They'll let you double enter classes. That's 700 miles for that one. It's not fair to those guys that double enter and make that many passes to not get the extra point. So it really becomes like this. It would look like I would be like, oh, well, hey, I'm giving all these extra points to Matt and the Rocky Mountain Race Week team, because they're harder and they're doing Mega Week and they're doing more miles. And so it's a very, very, very fine line that we're walking there, because, I mean, again, we're in uncharted territory. Anyways, all of that to say this, dude, you're a badass. I loved Mega Week. It was really one of the coolest events I've ever been on, seeing all those people. And now that the cart's running, I got to get it given away, and then I can get back in the old truck and we can turn it up and I can race. Damn it. I want to do some racing. I still have not finished a Dragon Drive as a racer. So you got to do that.
You got to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Not even my own event. It was by choice, but, like, we made people do 3 passes in one day. And when it came to the second one, I was like, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. So anyway, so I got to do that. So that's the plan, hopefully, for Mega Week or Race Week, Rocky Mountain, whatever we're going to do in 2026. So lead us out. Kind of what can you tempt us with this post? You're saying that, hey, we're looking at another Mega Week maybe in the near future.
Well, I mean, I definitely, at least for the June one, I want to try to get back here. It's all hinged on Great Bend, really, at this point, because I know I really don't foresee Bandimere being open next year. There's still talk that Great Bend can be open next year. If that's the case, then we'll come back here for our June event.
That'd be awesome.
And then I've kind of seen, the areas. I don't know. I don't know where we're gonna go. I kind of torn a little bit, because there's a lot of really cool stuff. Some of the stuff that I'm looking at does overlap some of the tracks that Six Summer goes to, not only for their only reason, because they're really cool tracks. So there might be something we might look at with that or whatever. But So a lot of the vendors were kind of like, hey, this really works for us to do this double event, and
Yeah.
that it's just because you get so many more people involved in it, and it worked well. So I don't know, I'm crazy, I guess. I think we need to probably try to do it again and see if we can make it work.
I love it.
Sure.
I think it would be awesome. John Gilman, Smoky Mountain Race Week.
Listen, there's a part of that I have to look at the mileage, because you got to understand that when I'm off, there's nobody running my semi truck, so there's nobody making any money around here. So some of it I have to look at how far we go, because I will go broke before I get home. So no,
Yeah.
it's like we talked. I want to do some different stuff. I want to go to some different tracks. Some of those places are beautiful areas. Some of it you got to
Yeah.
look at too, of how dangerous the areas are. With that's something I always look at too, is are the theft areas and stuff like that, and try to stay
Yeah.
away from that. I mean, there's a lot that goes into the thinking and thought process of how I look at these things to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a bad situation. And sometimes some of it we just have to throw caution to the wind and we do it. But I still look at it as the aspect of what's going to be safe for you guys. It's even like when we were the stuff that they're doing up there at Big Sky. I looked at that a long time ago to go up there, but like Yellowstone didn't even have any. It was dirt all the way to the racetrack, and that was an issue. And then the other issue is with us doing night racing and stuff like that. I was worried, on the drives and stuff like that, where we're going to end up as they're coming out of there. Wildlife and stuff like that always plays a role in my thought process. So obviously they're making it work. Maybe it was a mistake for me not to do it. I could have probably got up there and got that done at some point. But I look at those kind of things like thefts and animals and all those kind of crazy things run through my mind when I think about where we're going.
Yeah, I can't imagine the other thought of that is you've got to find a place that's capable of holding that many cars.
That's it.
Like, I don't know. I mean, Tulsa does a good job, but tracks like you would overrun Mocan with that many cars.
Absolutely.
And then how do you put 1,000 spectator cars or 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 spectator cars around there? I know they probably have some events that are like that, but could we do it?
Well, and that's the part of it too, is just having that discussion with them. What is the most cars you've had on the track? I mean, the one thing that we do have going for us, I think that we don't ever think about, is if you tell me that you put 300 cars on a property on a given time, I know we can do 600 because there's 300 tow rigs that are sitting next to those cars on that 300 car property. So I know when you tell me how many cars you have, I can double that up because of the rigs, and I know we can make that work.
Yeah. And John Gilman here, trying to find a track that can handle fast cars too. That's within mileage. I think Adam Dory said that best, was like the hardest part is now you have this pool of tracks in your area you're looking in. Now how many can host this? Now how many can handle the fast cars? Now how many can do that? And you really start narrowing it down. And man, you do a great job. I know from just my little experience in my weekend events is tough. I can't imagine what it's like putting together what you do. And I just, man, it's inspiring. It's awesome.
Well, I appreciate it. And I mean, it even goes down to that too, like guardrails. If I got bikes, we got bikes. So a guardrail track versus a K barrier track, like I have to look at those. I'll think, oh yeah, this is a cool track. We'll do an aerial shot over the track and look at it. Oh, well, we can't run there. So that kills that. And then the other part of it is, I'm sure you've dealt with some of this, but you have to know that you got good people at the tracks that you're going to deal with management wise too. Like there's some stuff that's been hurdles that people don't see behind the scenes. It's like, holy crap, I got my ass handed to me and I got blindsided. I mean, there's some stuff I got blindsided on over the years that's cost me dearly, but I've already got you guys locked in. You've already paid your money. We're already supposed to go there. They got me bent over a barrel. I have to do this.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of things that get, that there's a lot of process. And what, I think the difference is with me and some of the other people is it's just us. Like we don't have a team to do this. Me and June are the ones that are doing it. And then we have all of our volunteers that come in, and that's the only way we can really, a lot of the time that's the only way you can afford to do it, because there's so much cost involved with it, as well as I do. You add another person or you do this, that's more money that goes out. That's more money that goes out. And my biggest thing is over the years is even being scared to get big sponsors in and not know if they would come in the next year or not. Because if you raise that bar for your business and your event, and then that's not there anymore, now you got to go backwards. Well, who the hell wants to go backwards with their event? That doesn't look good for anybody. So you try to keep it on that level of living within your means in a sense, to make sure that you're not overdoing it and then ruining yourself later on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. One last topic, and this is probably something I should have given you a heads up on, but I just thought of it. Let's talk about ticket pricing, because I feel like it's too cheap, to be honest. I feel like we are, as a community, our stuff is too inexpensive. When you start kind of factoring in, like these folks are just in entry fees for themselves and the cars to race at each track 5 days a week would typically cost what they're paying in tickets. So
absolutely,
I think in the next few years, are we going to start seeing the need for stuff to go up?
You have to. I mean, we have to. We're in a position where we don't have a choice. The tracks are seeing what we're doing. They're raising their prices. Everything we're doing is costing us more money. And the only way way that we're going to be able to keep these events healthy is to keep moving it up. And we hate that. Like I struggled with wanting to raise ticket prices for spectators from 15 to 20 bucks because I'm thinking that $5 that means a lot to a lot of people. You got it, and so, but the reality of it is if we don't start moving our pricing up to be able to survive this, I mean, because here's the thing, like, I mean, I'll be straight up with you. This double event, everybody kept telling me, and everybody kept taking money away from me, thinking, oh, it's going to be cheaper for you because you already have the track rented. It didn't work that way, guys. Like that
Oh
did
no.
no. What happened is now I have only the spectators for that demographic for that one period. I didn't split it between two, so I don't know that I can adjust. There's those things, and then the track see what you're doing, so they're raising their prices on you. Like all that stuff comes together, and then you are at the end of it. You're like, oh well, I had to double these guys because they had 4 employees, and I had to double my hotel rooms, and I had like all that stuff. So yes, when we start looking at this as we go forward, and it scares you because you're always scared to do that. But like you said, reality is when you go to any track on any given day to go race, right? Whether it's test and tune or whatever, you're guaranteed you're going to spend $100 at least on a test and tune night. If you're going to a regular race event where you're racing, you're going to probably spend between $250, $300 just for that one event that you're doing. So what we're doing right now is way low. Honestly, like it almost, I mean, it's sickening to even talk about it, but you almost have to be damn near double where you're at. We're going to see that in the near future because there's no way we're going to be able to keep doing it the way we do it. None of us are.
It's really surprised me
And
that we've seen just little increases every year, but typically like what I feel like is just like a fees change. You know what I mean? It hasn't been a big jump. I think we're probably close to what you're seeing.
Yeah. What do you think,
and in
John?
the grand scheme of things, why? I mean, for one, you guys take a week out of your life to make this happen, and you need something for that.
No,
You
yeah.
had to pay the rent, you had to pay the insurance, you had to buy awards, you have to all the things that you have to do. Like if it goes up $200 or $300, $400, I'm not going to be like, well, I ain't doing it no more.
Right.
I mean, it wouldn't affect me at all on what I think of. I mean, like even when we go to Michael's race, we pay the entry fee, and then I spend at least $200 to $300, $400 on giving to the charity.
Right.
Just for random things at the charity, because that's what we're actually doing it for.
Sure.
But if your race goes up $200, $300, $400, I'm not going to be like, well, I ain't doing it no more. I'll just be like, well, just gotta figure it out. That's
and
like,
and that is one thing
like
too. Like, go ahead.
well, it's just like Doherty just said. It's the cheapest part. Like the tires that I had to get for this last race cost more than entry fee.
Absolutely.
So
yeah. Well, and for
and I
us, like
didn't.
it's crazy because there was a couple years where it was really good, and I'm watching. I pay attention to what's going on, and some places you got spectators loaded in there, and I know what that does for your event. I know with us not having spectators, what that does for us. All I'm trying to even do is just even make enough money just to cover June's wages for a year, what she could make for a job, just so that she can stay home and do this. And there's times where we don't even do that. Like there's times where we don't make it to that point. But for me, and I'm not crying about it. I don't want anybody to think that that's the case. We always make sure that we do well with whatever we do. But it's like that's why I constantly say, it's up to everybody to try to help get those people in those seats. But where we're at with it, I think, and I've talked about this before, it's just like what happened with no prep and everything else. It's great that this is getting as big as it is, but it gets the sponsors so spread thin that they can't offer the money that they can't used to be able to offer because they're out there all in all these lands and putting all this money in there. So what that ends up doing is that makes it for we have to increase our pricing to make sure that we stay above and above, because honestly, like if we can't stay healthy, any of us that are doing this, we cannot continue to keep doing these events because we can't afford to at some point.
Yeah. Well, and the other side of that too is I've preached this about my work with Tulsa Raceway Park. If you charge more, let's look at Street Outlaws as a great example. If you charge more for tickets, you can put on a better show.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So if you take that thought process into everything else, it all should go up, because it's not like most drag and drive promoters are not standing there going, oh man, I'm going to make so much money. They may think that when they go to host their first one,
Right.
but I'll tell you just ask them dudes after that first one what it was like.
Yeah. They're
I
like,
only
oh,
know-
it was all this money.
I only know one that's doing it for the money, and I'm not going. I mean, I think that goes without saying. So.
I don't think he's doing it anymore.
That-
But
no,
that hasn't
that's
been
not the one.
confirmed officially on the page.
That's not the one I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I mean, but you're right. Like it's when people, I've told some guys that have called me and I said, listen, here's some things you need to know. And if you don't prepare yourself to go in, if you're, for us, it's crazy because of the amount of money that we put out in payouts. But the guys that don't, like, you better prepare that you have, my biggest thing has always been, is always make sure that you have enough money to cover whatever it is that you did. And you got to walk away with that, either putting some money money in, I make sure that they understand, like, you better have some money in your account, because if you walk away from this and you don't pay your bills, you're done. Your name's done.
Yeah.
Everything's done. And
Yeah.
and we've seen it. We've seen
Agreed.
guys try to do it, and they're like, okay, I got to cancel this and call it off, because I think you start realizing that, when a track for one day costs you $17,000 to $20,000 for one day, you're like, well, 150 people at $300 is not going to cover
It's
that for
not
a week,
enough.
Yeah.
No.
So
I can't imagine the t-shirt apparel cost you guys have leading into an event. I know what the circuit costs, and
well, it's
it
astronomical,
scares me.
and we've even done that. Like, we've started. June makes the hats now. She does all that. She does the printing of all the girls' shirts and all that stuff, just so that we can kind of keep that cost down. And that's what what gets me is the guys that are always mad at you because you won't give them a refund. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, your money that you paid in is already spent.
It's gone,
Yeah.
buddy. Yeah, it's gone. You can preach that to the choir. Well, listen, what are some last things you want to tell folks? We've gone over, but I think it's been well worth it, man.
You know what? All I want to say is it's been a hell of a ride. I would have never thought that I think we're at 16 events and 10 years or whatever that is. I think that's what it comes out to be. And if you counted this as two, it would be 17. But it's been great. Like, I don't think I ever would have thought that I would have been in this situation with this many people all over the world. It's just amazing that I don't want to say that, to my own horn, but touched people, and then also have these relationships with all these people and all you guys and everything like that. Like, it's been really good. And, we're going to continue to push on as long as everybody wants to keep doing what we're doing and be there and support it. Like, I don't know. It's pretty cool to see that we get to, we're a percentage of people that do these drag and drives, and the world doesn't have any idea what they're missing out on. And they don't get to see really how real people live, because that's really what it comes down to. And I don't care who you are, get out there and do it. Whether it's ours, whether it's drag week, whether it's any of them, remember that 600 miles doesn't get you the whole complete bragging rights. But anyways, no, but anyways, go out there and do whatever, go do these events, go support your local one, come see us, come try any of them, but get out there and do it, because if you don't know that if you have no idea, it will change your life forever. And I'm super grateful for being able to do what we've done, and I enjoy it. Like, we enjoy it every year to go out there, and sometimes I'm like, I'm done, but when I get to hang out with the people, it's great. And one other thing, so it's not going to make up for it, but John Doherty he got messed up on his trophy at the awards. Like, it got messed up. That's the hardest part, I think, about what we do, is we're so fast moving things into the awards. I hate awards because it's so rushed trying to get everything done. There were some mistakes that were made, but we're getting him his trophy. We're getting him the right one for him. And as long as he's not too mad and he comes back, he's got a free spot for any of our events next year to try to make up for that. And I apologize. It's a big deal to me that we missed that, but I want to make sure at least the world that we're in right here, talking on here, that he gets recognized that he did win second place in a big block. So
That's awesome. That's
I got
really
that
cool.
right? NA big block. I don't think I did screw that up too.
Yep. Lastly, real quick, last question, then we'll send you on your way. How can I enter race weekend from Danny Gruba, or are there spots left? Race weekend, for folks that don't know, first weekend in September at Pueblo.
Yep, it'll be a super cool deal. We'll do our normal tech and race on the same day, and then we're gonna go on the first. So that'll be the first race day on Friday. Saturday we're gonna do a drive. We actually rented I always get this screwed up. I don't know if it's the Royal Gorge or the Grand Canyon, because I screw it up every time. But it's the Royal Gorge, isn't it?
Royal Gorge.
Yeah. So we rented that so we can drive across the bridge, hang out in the park, take some really cool pictures. Then I think we're gonna go up to Bishop's Castle, and then the next day, and then come back and race that night. And then the next day, so you'll do a 2-day average. Then we'll do, like we normally do, we'll do a shootout on the last day, but we'll drive first. Probably either go to Garden of the Gods or up Cripple Creek. Just a real cool mountain drive. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be laid back. I'm gonna try to, as long as this piece of crap back here ain't blowed up by then, because we're doing Havlicks, I'm gonna run that. June's gonna drive her car. We're gonna try to get everybody that normally is behind the scenes actually being involved in this. We might have a small live feed, and I don't think we're gonna have Adam announce. We'll see, but it's kind of just gonna be a laid back deal. But if you want to get in on it, you can go to the Rocky Mountain Race Week website right now. There's still tickets available as of right now for the first set, and then in July, I think it's the 12th. I'll have to go back and look. We'll do another run of tickets where you sign up, like everybody tries to get on there and sign up type deal.
That's awesome. Yeah, I sheepishly am excited excited about you coming into some of this regional, like the weekender type events, because I think you're gonna love it. It's so cool because it really is kind of a little laid back. It's a great weekend. It's good time to hang out and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, Richard says I'll see you at the Havlick race. So I'm sure you're
Yep.
bringing the car down for that. That's going to be a blast.
Yep, I'm gonna try to. I'm coming to redeem myself. We didn't get exactly where we wanted to be last year, and I'm coming for it.
That's awesome. All right. Well, listen, guys, if you don't already follow Matthew E. Frost on Facebook, you need to do that. Rocky Mountain Race Week, RMRWERS Facebook group. This guy's one of the easiest promoters to get a hold of. Don't ask him questions. Don't send him, hey, I'm thinking about starting one. What do I need to know? That's not the question to start with. I promise. Right. You don't want to have that conversation. It's no fun. But Matt, I appreciate our friendship. I appreciate all the times that you do take my phone call and ask dumbass questions like that. And dude, you're awesome. You're great for the sport. And man, changed my life, dude. I appreciate it.
Thank you, and I appreciate you guys, everybody, all the racers. You guys, like I said, I really appreciate what you're doing for the sport. You're in it for the right reasons. It's just awesome. It's just to see, we keep talking. We kind of got to go back to that grassroots stuff, and I feel like for you, that's part of that grassroots side of it,
Yeah.
and that's what we need. We need a lot more of that grassroots side of things, and
Yeah.
it'll grow. You're growing, and you'll just keep growing because you're doing it for the right reasons. So thank you.
I appreciate that. All right, I'm gonna kick you backstage, and me and Sony gonna end this thing out, and then
Okay.
we'll so stay backstage. Hang on, that's what I'm saying. Stay backstage. We'll talk for just a minute. All right, let's do this thing, dude. Guys, again, thanks so much to Performer Built Transmissions, Ryan and the team up there, GM Transmissions. Just send your stuff to them. They have it. Call him, text him, Facebook message Performer Built if you have any kind of questions on GM Trans. They do some Ford stuff, but they typically like to be the best, and that's why they're called Performer Built. They're not built just to do stock stuff. They like to do fun stuff. And episode 111, I don't even know who I'm going to talk to, what I'm going to talk about, but I know it's probably going to be Dragon Drive related and probably has to do something with Dragon Drive events and racers and people that are our race car friends. So thank you guys so much. The views tonight have been great. The comments have been awesome, man. Having everybody come in here, make comments, ask questions. Feel like we had a lot deeper conversations tonight than we have had typically on these. I think that's what's great about Matt. Again, up front, I told Jonathan, hey, I don't have any topics for us to go over. I told Matt the same thing. I just figured we could talk, and man, that's what we did. It was awesome to hang out here with you guys tonight.
Yeah.
So I hope, Jonathan, you had a good time. You got to
I had a great time.
Your friends there on the in the chat too. That was a blast. And then, of course, guys, I'm just going to ask you one more time. Sponsors, if you are looking for some part, just shop these guys. See if they offer stuff that you could make work. Summit Racing has 1,500 brands. I mean, they've got anything you could need. Deechworks has the knowledge and all the stuff for any kind of fuel delivery. Molly Motorsports. If I was doing this the right way, I'd put Molly Power Pack pistons in the truck. But to get to the circuit, we're just going to do some stock bottom end stuff. But we do have Molly pistons in Eric's car, which is going to be a beast in 10.0 racing, and then we're going to go 850 stuff. Driven racing oil. I mean, Jonathan was telling a story before we even started about how the noise went away with some of the driven racing oil. Maybe that's what's the problem with your cars. Maybe you just need some driven. Howard's Cams, big shout out to Luke B, who sent me a cam to Tulsa, cam and push rods, overnighted them, made sure I had them for Friday when we got back to Mega Week. We ended up not swapping the motor. Should have. Still hate myself for not pushing for that. J-Wire Solutions, Jay is the man. Jay Blanchard just absolutely kills it with all the stuff. They can wire your car, sell you parts, all that stuff. WAF Racing, we showed you the video. Dude, if you're a carburetor guy and you don't have WAF Racing products, like what's wrong with you? Performer Built Transmissions, talked about him a whole bunch. Car Chains 3D, I didn't even talked about car chains this week. Like all kinds of mounting stuff, all kinds of super cool. You can get a hat with your car 3D printed on it. Like it's awesome. Sweet Patina, the best hand cleaning wipes on the market. TKO hand cleaning wipes. Racing Junk Classifieds, who built an entire segment, the Dragon Drive cars. Like if that's not the first place you look for Dragon Drive cars, just leave. Don't come back. Power Tube TV, exclusive stuff from us over there. They put all of our shows on. We love them. We're gonna have them on very soon. Anyways, Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on tonight, dude. I know it was
I appreciate you having me.
You're like
That's
the de facto co-host, man. It's pretty cool.
Yep. I just hope Eric's having a good time, get some good coverage. You guys got something to talk about this week.
Yep, I'm sure he is. It's crazy. Saturday morning, the news. I'm gonna have Ken White and Tom Bagley on to talk about Street Weekend UK. So that'll be kind of fun. It'll be afternoon time over there for them. Be here. So typically we don't do that on the news channel or the news show because it's an hour. I don't have we've talked 2 hours and 46 minutes tonight. So but we're gonna have them on Saturday. So you guys gotta watch that. So appreciate it, everybody. See you. Bye later. Great show, man. Thank you. I appreciate you being here.